You good?
Let's go.
All
What's
right.
up, guys?
What's up? Hello and welcome to the Unkindness Lounge, episode 3, featuring Intimidator.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So we started the podcast to get to know people from the Twitch community together, kind of bring them a little closer, and get to know some awesome content creators in the community, because this community is awesome. And yeah, we came up with the name the Unkindness Lounge because a group of ravens is an unkindness and a group of lizards is a lounge, so it's just too good to be true. But we're actually kind. We promise.
Yeah, but we are actually kind. You guys, anyone can hang out with us.
So it's funny. Sorry. I was just going to say it's funny. I messaged Lizard yesterday and I was like, what's it called? Like, what's this podcast called? And he told me the Unkindness Lounge. And I was like, are you just going to bully me?
You were probably like, wait, what am I signing up for? Do I belong here?
This is so funny.
That's really funny. Okay, this is really funny because don't you work in like mental health or something like that?
I do.
So
Yeah.
probably like, wait a minute, what am I getting myself into?
That's so
But
funny.
yeah, Tim Intimidator is our official second guest on this podcast.
That's right.
And I'm really excited for this episode today because so our last podcast we had Steph on here. I'm pretty good friends with Steph, know a lot about her, but I think you are the first guest that I really don't know much about, so I'm excited to learn more.
Yes,
well.
Same here. I've played a couple games with Tim, been in his chat, just hanging out and stuff every now and then. Feel like I know a little bit, but not a whole lot, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I'll be honest. I was surprised when you asked me. You know, I feel like I'm an approachable person. So, Lizard, I probably know you better than I know Raven. Although I've been able to catch more of Raven's streams as she's been streaming at like 5 a.m. my time.
Right.
Struggle.
Yeah. Just one quick reminder before we actually get started is if you're chatting in the chat, we do notice, so keep on chatting. We notice every message. We're probably just not going to acknowledge it as much as we go, so we don't get off topic because we all get distracted. Well, I don't know about Tim, but me and Raven get distracted really easy. So we'd get off topic really easy, and then at the end we'll like take questions and stuff. But we do notice the chats, so.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you guys for being here for our third episode.
Yeah, super excited. All right, so Tim. Video games.
Yeah.
Do you play them?
I do. I do like video games. Yeah. I have pretty much been playing games most of my life. When I was a little kid, I actually have a picture of me and my dad. I'm probably like 8 months old in this photo, and I have one hand on a joystick in an arcade. You know,
that's awesome.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
and my dad is playing.
That is so funny.
Yeah, my gaming career started early, and I would say that my parents were always supportive of it. Like, it's not like something that they ever tried to squash or say, you know, you should be doing X, Y, and Z instead of playing video games. You know, I grew up in Philadelphia. I don't know if you knew that. But yeah, I grew up in Philly, and so playing outside was never something that I was always allowed to do, depending on where we were, and what neighborhood we were living in, things like that.
That makes sense.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So they're like, if you've got an alternative hobby, that's great.
Yeah. They kind of I blame them for the fact that I'm an indoor kid. So
there's nothing wrong with
fair.
that. So you said it's probably pretty much always been a thing in your life. Gaming has. So you mentioned your dad. Was he a big gamer as well? Like, as far as just hobby playing games and stuff like that? Did you get that from him, or did you kind of discover that hobby on your own?
You know, he had Pong. So like that was like his probably venture into video games, and obviously he was, you know, he would go to arcades and things like that, but no, it probably wasn't until he had kids that you know, he was like, ooh, an excuse to play video games at home.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, that's awesome.
this is for the kids. This is for the kids. um, but no, it's I remember my first system being a Nintendo. So I really got into, Duck Hunt, Mario Brothers.
Mm.
There was this game called Gotcha, and it had like an exclamation point, and it was one that you could play with the same light gun that you used for Duck Hunt. So it was still, something that you could point it at the screen, and it was a side scrolly type of a game.
That's cool.
So I remember that very vividly. And then Super Nintendo, that was probably what I played the most with my dad. We played a lot of Mario Kart.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And then, moving forward, I was really a Nintendo kid. I had the N64 as well. We used to play Sega, and like the Sega Genesis at my friend's place, but I always had the Nintendo consoles, up through just about the time when the GameCube Xbox came out, the original Xbox. And so yeah, I mean, I ended up switching over to the original to the Xbox at that point. I was probably about 12, 13-ish, and Halo was, launched with the original Xbox, so I absolutely was a Halo kid. Um, I remember, so when I got my Xbox, right, it was a bundle. Like the way that they did it back then was you bought the console and then you could also like pick 3 games with the console. And so I
Oh.
remember getting Project Gotham Racing and Dead or Alive 4, I think maybe it was just Dead or Alive, I don't remember. And then Halo, obviously.
That's awesome.
So yeah, Project Gotham Racing was a lot of fun. It doesn't probably get nearly as much credit as it deserves, and the franchise itself, I think, has perished. But
yeah, that's fair.
Kind of cool that they did like a bundle deal.
Yeah, Halo was definitely ahead of its time.
Was.
So what's the one game? Do you have like a singular one game from your childhood that you feel like defines your childhood or anything like that?
Oh, let me think. I'm immediately going to say Pokemon Gold.
Oh, cool.
Played a lot of Pokemon Yellow, but Pokemon Gold was it stands the test of time in my memory and in my enjoyment of it. I mean, that was a game that I put in many hours, played over and over and over again, tried to level up my Pokemon to, get to max level. You do the Victory Road and like the League of Champions, whatever that's called, the Pokemon League. Just would do that over and over and over again. So I think that's probably a game that sticks out as like being the most played game.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's Pokemon's cool. The best.
So you can go ahead, listen.
I was just gonna say, whenever you switched to the Xbox from Nintendo, was it kind of like no looking back sort of thing until the Switch came around? Because that's kind of how it was for me. So I started out with the GameCube because I'm a little younger, and then I went to the Wii, and then when I got a Xbox 360,
right.
I did not play Nintendo very often until the Switch came out. So
yeah, no, I was as a teenager, so I had the Xbox. I didn't get a GameCube for a long time. It wasn't until way, way, way later that I ended up picking up a GameCube used on sale.
Mm-hmm.
But so no, I would say I did get a Wii. Had to get in on the Wii Sports action.
Heck yeah, you already know. You already know.
Although I don't know that I could challenge you at Wii Boxing. I don't know that, I'm just not going to go there. Bowling, maybe. But
yeah, I was only good at the boxing. Yeah, I don't know if anyone could beat me at the boxing, but yeah, the bowling and everything else, definitely. We actually, we broke out my childhood Wii. I don't know if you saw these tweets. We broke out my childhood Wii the other night, and
great.
Caitlin thought it was a joke, like this whole Wii boxing world record holder thing. And then she was looking through, because you can look at like each day that you played, there was like a little, like the notes, and it would like tell you how much time you put in and stuff. There were just numerous days where I would put in like anywhere from 7 to 11 hours playing Wii Sports, and I
believe it.
I would just keep making new characters and going pro and Wii boxing.
I feel like you
with
had
them.
this whole like alternate life
Yeah,
in your
yeah.
Wii.
Mhm.
With all your Wiis and everything.
I
Oh, man,
apparently
that
was definitely living a fantasy life in the Wii. That's
That
for
was
sure.
great.
But
See, I was
yeah.
a Just Dance kind of girl.
Oh yeah.
Naturally.
I wasn't good at any of the sports, but Just Dance was fun.
So like overall, what's your favorite video game of all time? New, old, anything.
I mean, can
Asking a tough
I?
question.
I know, right? You're just coming out swinging here with the tough questions. Favorite game of all time? Do I have to say game, or do I have to like actually, or can I do like
I
franchise?
mean, yeah, you
Kinda
could do
answer it
franchise. That's
how
kind of
you
how
want.
I am whenever I do things like that. Just franchise would work too.
I think the Mass Effect franchise is probably up there. I don't know that it would necessarily be my, top favorite game of all time. I do think probably the original Halo is my favorite game. It's a game that I have and could continue to play over and over again and not get tired of it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I put a lot of time into Halo 2 multiplayer when Xbox Live came out, and so that franchise would probably be, again in my top 3. But Mass Effect is, to me, it doesn't get much better than that trilogy. I know that the third Mass Effect got a lot of, ridicule, and rightfully so. When it first launched, it was kind of a mess. Hey, it's 2021 and that's still an issue for a lot of games. Um, but with some patches and some fixes, it was still an enjoyable experience to me. And a lot of people were upset at the ending of that game, but I actually enjoyed it. So
I've actually never heard of that. Is that Xbox?
a Mass
Okay.
Effect? Oh,
Yeah.
it's probably playable on most platforms at this point.
You could probably play it on PC, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Somewhere.
you can.
Yeah.
It's an RPG. It's definitely story heavy with some unique combat, gunplay. I really just like story games. Like I like
Oh, yeah,
story-driven
sure.
games with dialogue and choices that matter. Like that's huge.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, check it out. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
you
Sorry.
go ahead.
Nope. Go ahead.
Kind of veering off on that note. I'm interested in how you guys know each other, because the only way that I know of Tim is through Lizard. So I'm kind of interested to hear that backstory a little bit of how you guys actually met / know each other.
I either
This
met.
is a test for.
Yeah, I either do you.
Are we two different answers?
I don't know if I remember the exact moment we met, but I know that I either met him in Dream Stream or Zarner's stream, or honestly both, and I followed him. And then one morning, I remember I was able to catch one of your streams, and you were playing what was it? The Jurassic World game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a game that got me through 2020 for sure. Yeah,
That game is
Jurassic
cool.
World Evolution.
It's like Animal or what is it? Zoo Tycoon, except Jurassic
Oh my gosh,
Jurassic
that's
Park.
so
It's
cool.
super cool. Yeah.
Dinosaurs.
But I remember being super intrigued by the game, and then like just the conversations we were all having in the chat and with you were unmatchable. Like it just goes so
That's
deep
cool.
sometimes, and super chill
It
vibes.
does.
So
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure, Lizard, we had to have met each other in Dream Outie stream.
most likely.
I'm guessing that's probably where it started. And I remember you popping up in my stream, my chat for the first time. I don't even know if you said hello. Like how you entered streams was, "What's your favorite game?" Mine is Wii Boxing or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I was like, this kid trolling? Like, is this
No.
Yeah,
gonna be like a
I'm sure he's
troll?
like, we're either gonna make or break friendships right here. I'm not wasting any time. I'm gonna see if this thing can work, and if not, I'm out of here.
I used to do that a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
But yeah, so the Jurassic World Evolutions, I think it's called, or something like that. It's a game that I got free with Gold, like Xbox Live Gold membership, and I had it downloaded for the longest time. I finally fired it up, and I just fell in love with it. If you're into like the simulation style, SimCity, Tycoon, things like that, but with dinosaurs and Jeff Goldblum's, sexy, lovely voice, then this game is for you.
It was
that's
pretty.
awesome.
It's a pretty
Might have to
awesome
check
looking
that
game.
out sometime.
It was very chill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
was
was gonna
super
say, I
cool.
feel like that's how all of our friendships really have started. It seems like someone just, because I've seen
Yeah.
your name before in those streams, but it wasn't until I don't think you were in like Lizard's chat for quite a while before I got to like know you a little bit more.
It
That's
often
super
stems
cool.
from
Yeah.
Dreamality.
It often somehow we
Yeah.
always come back to the common factor
Well,
in this equation.
and what's really funny about that is that I randomly found Dreamality. I was playing what was I playing? Like I was playing Warzone. I was playing Call of Duty Warzone back on Mixer. And I was streaming and I was like, let's find somebody to raid. Nobody that I knew was online at the time. So I was like, let's find somebody new. I that's actually something that I like to do at the end of my streams is if there's nobody online or nobody that if there's somebody with like hundreds of views, I'm like less inclined to raid them, I'll be honest. I want to kind of help some of the smaller streamers out. So that's why, I just happened to randomly click into Ori in the Blind Forest. Or maybe it was Will o' the Wisps at the time, I don't remember. It was one of the Ori games. And I just was scrolling down. I was just scrolling through the list of people that were playing Ori, and I was looking for somebody that had a decent cam, a decent setup, sounded, pretty good. And I clicked on Dreamality, and I was like, let's raid this guy. And
That's super cool.
been friends ever
That's
since.
awesome.
Yeah,
So you were back on the Mixer days too.
I was. Yeah.
Nice. How long were you on there for?
So I have been watching streamers on Mixer for years, probably just after the Beam days ended and Mixer took over. That's kind of when I was like, okay, what's Mixer? Like, what is this? Especially since it started popping up on my Xbox, right?
Hmm.
And I just hung out in some different people's communities for a while, and it wasn't until just about a year ago that I started streaming myself.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's been fun. I really enjoyed Mixer. I enjoyed the communities on Mixer. Magnetron is probably he was a Beam OG partner and he was a Mixer partner, and that was a community that I found early on and I latched onto and made a lot of different friends via Magnetron.
That's awesome.
That's cool. So
Yeah.
you've been watching streams on there for
Yeah.
forever, but just about a year into streaming, or give or take.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
literally, I think it was like January of last year. I should have actually like written down the date somewhere, and because now all of Mixer stuff is gone, so I can't even go
Mhm.
back and like
Yeah.
look at what my first stream
Your
was.
anniversary is dang.
Yeah, and I remember I was Dreamality's 119th follower, and
Oh,
he had
wow.
a follower goal at the time. He had a follower goal to get to 120, and so I quick messaged my friend, Not Really Tubby, who is a mod in my channel, and I was like, "Hey, I think you would really like this guy. He needs another follow. Like, go hit him up." And so he did, and he typed in chat like, "Tim sent me." And so Dreamality always likes to call that out from time to
Oh,
time.
that's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Dream is so good about remembering, like making everyone feel special
Yeah.
and remembering the little details about like when you started chatting, when you came in. It's like really cool.
He
Dang, I
has
never realized how hard that was until like I started streaming myself. I'm like, shoot,
he
how he
has an
does that.
amazing memory.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
that's
does.
That's awesome.
That's kind of
That's
how I
really
met him too, though. I was just streaming on Mixer, and he raided me one day, and boom, you're instantly
that's
like
awesome.
just sucked into the community, and you get
Yeah.
to know everybody. I'm still
Yeah.
meeting people. Like,
This community is so great.
right, I'm still meeting people. I met Robbie Juice and Ginger a little over a month ago, I think, and like those are two awesome streamers. So it's just
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
how you just meet people as you go.
Yeah, Robbie's over here talking about how he found us through Dream and
Yeah, McDuck and
Right?
Sully, and
That's how I found Sully. That's how I found Zarners.
right,
yeah, I have so many friends
Somnic,
now
Steph,
right.
Cal.
specifically
Yeah.
through that channel. It's literally insane when you think about it.
Right.
So
No good as well. I saw no good
yeah.
in chat.
Wait,
And
no, I did see your raid. Thank you so much for that. I do want to address
Yeah,
that.
no good
It's been
gamer.
forever since I've seen you. Thank you so much for that raid, by the way. I really appreciate it. And
Right.
we are so happy to have you here. So when you started streaming on Mixer, Intimidator, what was the first game that you streamed?
So, reflecting on the last year, it being around New Year's right now, when you guys are listening to this, I was like, what was the first game that I streamed? I couldn't remember exactly what the first game was, but I do remember the first like most meaningful experience I had streaming was Subnautica. Have you ever played that game?
No, once again, I've not heard of it. I'm pretty new to this.
Okay.
So there's a lot.
Hey, well, here's the thing. So, I am definitely drawn towards indie games, and I'm basically adopting the slogan of like, I'm probably playing a game you've never heard of.
Super cool.
Because I do kind of like the indie titles. Subnautica is a game that came out in early access years ago. But it wasn't until I think in the last maybe 2019 it finally like released and was finished, and so I was like, okay, I'm finally going to play this game. And somebody in my chat used to call it the ocean screensaver game. Like it's basically an underwater base building survival game with a storyline to follow.
That's cool.
That's cool. What was it
It's
called?
Subnautica. Definitely worth checking out.
That's cool. How do you find all these games that no one's ever heard of?
A lot of times I'll just go to Steam, or at the time I was just using Game Pass, and I was just looking for indie titles, games that looked cool, looked kind of chill. So my full-time job is very, very stressful. Just emotionally taxing, physically taxing, mentally taxing. And so at the end of the day, when I'm like playing video games and streaming, I just want something that I can kind of turn my brain off and just relax. And so that's how I kind of stumbled into Subnautica and trying to find these indie titles.
That makes sense.
That's fair. That explains the chill vibes. Tim has the literal, literally the chillest streams you will ever find. There'll be like either the game he's playing, or maybe you play it, just some soft music going on, and then your voice is very like.
I swear you are never on when I'm like up and around.
Yeah, your voice is very like calming and stuff.
That's it's funny that you say that, because I've had people tell me that in the past, that like that they just find my voice to be soothing or calming or whatever that is.
Right.
I didn't know that about myself until people told me about it. So it probably fits being.
I mean, I've never heard your voice until today, and I was like, as soon as you started talking, I'm like, man, he has a great podcast voice. This is gonna be good.
Yeah.
I always thought that I had a soothing voice and chill streams until I went back and watched one and realized I make a weird noise every 5 seconds.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, you do until one little thing happens, and you're like,
I'm like, oh, never mind.
Every 5 seconds.
I mean, so recently I went back and played Warzone with what I call the Trash Squad. It's myself and three other friends. We play squads in Warzone. We're terrible. And
I
so
didn't even know you played Warzone.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I played a lot of Warzone.
He's probably played more Warzone than me.
I've put in a lot of time. I haven't played a lot recently though, and that's probably why you haven't seen me on. But yeah, no, I was playing with the Trash Squad, and um, even even though it's a sweaty, type of experience, I still try to make it kind of easygoing and calming if that's even possible. But, Lizard, going back to what you said too, like I make the craziest sounds, in those games. And Phasmophobia, like
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
yeah. I tried to solo I tried to solo do one of the things in Phasmophobia, and I just about
That
died.
never. I
Yeah.
totally forgot.
Yeah.
We did play Phas. I played Phasmo with you guys one time for just a little bit. It was over your lunch break or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh man, that's brave. I couldn't even do the solo tutorials, so that's brave.
Yeah, Phasmo's not too bad until you have to play by yourself, and it's
You
really
know what we're gonna ask you now.
yeah.
So
Here we
now
know.
we're on the Phasmo
Okay.
It's just
topic.
been building up. Go ahead, fire away.
Oh,
Do you believe in ghosts?
I do. I do. Yeah, I do.
Love for you to
So I yeah, so I'm a sucker for like the supernatural. And I think it's just fun. It's just one of those things that I think is fun. Um, would like to think that I'm a guy that um, you know, makes decisions based on data, and I do every day in my full-time job. And I take the science approach to most things, but I like ghosties.
Do you live anywhere or grow up anywhere close to anything that was like known for being haunted or
Oh yeah, yeah. So I grew up in Philadelphia, and then my parents moved to a county, a couple, maybe like an hour outside of Philadelphia, called Lancaster County, and it's like an Amish county basically. It's Amish Mennonite, um, but just a little bit further west is Gettysburg. So like Pennsylvania, the Northeast in general has so much history behind it. So naturally, there's a lot of things that have popped up in terms of wars and unfortunate situations. Like Philadelphia has a jail that is abandoned right now, but is haunted. It's known to be haunted. Sorry if you hear my cat howling in the background.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, yeah. He likes to announce when he's used the litter box. Okay, don't we all? Don't
Right?
we all?
Yeah.
You know,
The deed is done.
yeah, yeah. It's like he wants like a congratulations or something.
Right.
you did it.
So, do you have any personal experiences, or no?
I do actually. Yeah.
Get into
Um.
the stuff.
Yeah. Right. I feel like we should have like a campfire going or something.
I know,
Right.
right?
No, I've had weird experiences before. One that I stands out the most is I had an apartment in undergrad, that was just an efficiency apartment. Like I had everything in one room aside from the bathroom, which was just inside of a closet essentially. So like the kitchen was exposed to the living room, and everything was just there. And it was small. It was just a cube. And so I always joke because the bed was underneath a chandelier because I just didn't have anywhere else to put it. Um, anyway, in the middle of the night one night, my girlfriend was staying over, and there was all of a sudden out of nowhere, all we were both sleeping, and out of nowhere, something from the kitchen got thrown from the top of my fridge across the room to my front door.
Oh,
um,
Jeez.
and so we immediately both got startled and got up. had no explanation for what was going on. And then we finally went back to sleep. We're like, okay, I guess it fell off and rolled over there. I don't know. So then we put it back and went back to sleep. A little bit while later, I woke up to use the restroom, and there was an outline of a figure in the corner of my room.
Mm-mm.
And I was like, I just stood there and stared at it for the longest time. And I turned to wake up my girlfriend and looked back, and it was gone.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's
So
pretty insane, honestly.
yeah. So I've had a couple other experiences, but nothing as like maybe intense as
Profound.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, how could you not
that's
believe him
wild.
after going through something like that? Like, there's no other way to explain a
Yeah.
situation like that.
What about you
Wild.
guys?
Nothing.
I've never experienced anything, but I definitely believe
Yeah.
just
Well,
because of how many stories
we're gonna
you do
go
hear.
on a ghost hunt whenever
Yeah,
the
me
world
and
opens
Lizard want
back
to go on
up.
a real life ghost hunt because
But
I'm ready to experience something.
I don't know. I'm kind of scared of
I
everything,
don't
so we'll
know.
see how that goes.
I know.
I'm open to it. Like I'm open to it being a real thing. If it's not a real thing, that it isn't, that's
Right.
fine. I don't know how else to explain some of the things that have happened or do happen, but I feel like a part of me just likes to like it's just fun, to
Yeah,
be
for sure.
scared and to like believe in that sort of thing.
True.
Um
Yeah. There's just too many stories out there, I feel like, in my opinion, for
mhm.
all of it to just be like a made up or coincidence. I'm like, how else would you, you know, explain what's
uh
going on?
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I don't know. I've never had anything happen, but that's
Yeah.
cool. But hopefully we'll go on a ghost hunt one of these days.
Yeah, hopefully
Figure
we'll
it out
Right.
see.
for ourselves.
So,
Well,
oh, go
Raven,
ahead.
I don't know where exactly you live, but Lizard and KP and I actually live pretty close together. We could probably find some sort of haunted place for us all to meet up
You know,
and,
actually now.
You're
Yeah.
you're kind of like smack dab in the middle of uh us and Ravenclaw, actually.
oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
So,
Do you
Okay.
live in Philly? You don't live in Philly right now, then, do you?
Not right now, no. I live in Des Moines,
I was
Iowa.
gonna say, I was like, that's not adding up in my mind.
No.
Unfortunately, I'm in North Dakota right now, so.
yeah.
But I'm from Missouri, so we all
That's
know each
right.
other. Yeah,
You said that your boyfriend is in the military, right?
yeah, my husband.
Husband,
So that's
sorry.
why. No, you're
Um,
good. That's why we're here. Or else we would never. No offense
yeah,
to
yeah.
anyone else is from here, but
No, yeah. Well, I have a
Yeah.
friend that his dad was in the military and lived in Minot. Like he was stationed in Minot, North
that's where we
Dakota.
are.
So
Literally,
yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
great.
Uh,
But
so I kind of figured.
drive on our way whenever we go visit home. We drive right through there, so I'm
Right.
sure one of these days when everything is good to go again, if that ever happens,
Heck yeah.
we could definitely set up a ghost hunt.
Maybe.
That would be fun.
Or like a Taco Bell mukbang or something.
I'd honestly, I mean, I'm equally as down for that as well.
Not quite as scary.
What? We could do both. We could
Right?
do
Yeah, that's
both.
what I think. You could do the ghost first, and then afterwards, to help calm your soul,
Literally.
you can do the Taco Bell. Perfect day, honestly.
Yeah.
So, what games have you been playing lately, Tim?
So over winter break, we'll say I've been playing a lot of different things. I've been playing a lot. I've actually been dipping back into Animal Crossing just to do like the holiday type
Mhm.
things, the seasonal stuff. Um, but I've been playing World of Warcraft as well. That was something that I got into recently in December. The expansion came out, right?
Yeah.
Shadowlands came out, and everybody was kind of flocking back to it. I'm like, I don't want to pay $15 a month plus
Right.
buy this expansion. This is kind of an expensive endeavor to get into. Plus, I've played WoW in the past, and it does suck all of your life, right? So I was like, I'm going to tread carefully here. I ended up doing like a free. I think you can level up for free to level 20, and then I was having a good time with it. Zarners was playing it too, and so I was like, all right, I'll pay 1 month of World of Warcraft and just see how far I get. I'm still not committed to Shadowlands, but let's just see. Well, I ended up leveling up a character to max level. Really enjoyed, my time in it, but I think that that has already kind of like I'm like, okay, I've had my fill. I'm done. Um, I can just chill and play other games because I have a big list of games to play. Um, I've been playing games like Ticket to Ride. You guys can see I have some board games in the background. I'm a big
Mm-hmm.
board game guy.
Nice.
Um, so some of my friends and I picked up Ticket to Ride on Steam and have been playing that just because it's chill and it's something to relax
Is that
to.
like a board game type of video game?
Yeah, it's just a virtual
That's-
version of the board game. Yeah,
Nice. Cool.
yeah. So I've been playing that. What else have I been playing lately? I played
No,
Warzone a little bit.
I know you've been playing Bug Snacks.
I do
Bug
not know
Snacks.
what is that.
Right. Right. Yeah, so Bug Snacks is a game that I heard about via a podcast, and they're talking about this like indie title that came out for PlayStation 5, and I was like, son of a like I don't have a PS5, like, and I was like, so how am I going to get my hands on this? Well, I just so happened to hear that it was also released on Epic Games and you could play it on your PC. So I was like, perfect. I'll just put it on my wish list. When it goes on sale, I'll pick it up. Well, Epic Games gave like a $10 coupon to, for whatever game. So it had knocked a couple bucks off of it. And then with the $10 coupon, it came to like 10 bucks.
Nice.
So I was like, I'm grabbing it for sure.
I
Um,
had only known of it as a PS5 game. I had no idea it was even on Epic, so that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, you should definitely look into it. It's a very fun game. It has a really neat little storyline. The writing is great and the voice acting is really good too. It's a game about kind of like catching Pokemon. You catch these things called bug snacks. And what it is they're like little creatures, little bugs that are half bug, half snack or food product. So they literally have this there's one in particular that I feel like is the star of the show. His name is Bunger and he just goes Bunger 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 Bunger. Like they basically like Pokemon say their name.
Mm-hmm.
Um and it's half cheeseburger, half other critter of some sort. Um
I like just want to see this now.
it's a really like cute game. The animation is really good too. And it's just a very chill vibe. Yeah, I mean,
Chill, I'm in. I'm in.
yeah,
Yeah, when we
yeah,
were kind of just chatting around before we started the podcast, I looked it up and went to images, and I saw like a picture of a praying mantis that had like orange slices for his claws and stuff.
yes,
I'm like,
yeah,
it's so funny.
Is
Yeah,
that
looks interesting.
Is that have you been streaming that lately, or have you been streaming anything in particular?
yeah. So like right before Christmas, I streamed Bug Snacks and I played through it. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm probably over halfway through. Um, and just I've been playing a lot of Rocket League lately. Um, and I've been streaming that too. So, I've been kind of getting back into Rocket League.
See, like the Rocket League thing.
Yeah, it's just, Rocket League is such an easy game to pick up and play and jump back into. It's just a game that is fun. It's so simple and yet so fun.
I feel like a
Um,
lot of people have been picking that back up lately. Seems like.
Yeah. It's also a really nice game to involve your community, because you can do custom matches and kind of cycle people out if you want to. So the other night we ended up, I just did a no cam stream. Sometimes I do that when I'm just not feeling like being on. It's just like, well, I'll just boot up the stream. People that are there can watch me if they want to. And we ended up having like a little customs community night, and it was really, really fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, especially now that it's free and cross-platform, so
Yes,
that's kind of great.
yeah.
Kind of
Well,
makes
that's
me want to,
yeah.
re-download it. I used to play it on Xbox when I was in college. I suck at it, but it's still a fun
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
game.
I downloaded it
Yeah.
when it was free. I downloaded it on PS4, but I've still never tried it. Just
It's
because
There's
pretty
I
cool.
get. I mean, I know it's literally just like soccer with cars, but I just get the thought of learning new
I
games is
like
always
the
intimidating.
Rumble game mode. It's kind of my favorite. It gives you these little like power up
Oh,
things that
yeah.
you can use every like 10 seconds or something. That's the one I like to play just
Yeah.
because that's my best chance of scoring a goal. Honestly. But
As if the game doesn't like, isn't crazy enough. You just add the power-ups in there
yeah,
for
it's
that
pretty
extra
wild.
element of chaos. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of skill in that game, but it's also like you can just luck into a goal. Like you don't have to be good at the game to still have a good time, I feel like.
For sure.
That's cool.
So yeah. Anything that I can do to try to like bring the community into the experience is something that I'm aiming to go towards more a
Yeah,
little bit in
that's
2020.
kind of what I'm trying to do too. I played Mario Kart the other day for the first time on stream, which I also suck at, but it was a lot of fun just playing with people. Um,
Yeah. Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
cool.
So
It's really
another
fun. I feel like it adds to the streaming experience when
for
you can
sure,
get the
yeah.
community involved for sure. So
Those are some of my favorite streams to hang out into whenever people are just
yeah.
playing little games like that or marbles or just
Mhm.
whatever really. Jackbox. Those are
Yeah.
always fun streams. Um, so
Yeah, Jabante just did that stream Christmas night, I think it was. That was a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
that
think it
was
was
fun.
on
super fun.
Christmas.
That
Yeah,
was super
that was
fun.
a blast. That was a
I
good
thought
one.
I was just like it was Christmas, so I'm like, oh, I'll just hop in and say hi to everyone, and I ended up literally staying the whole rest of the night hanging out with everyone on the stream. I was like, it was
Literally,
super
Right?
fun.
we
Yeah,
got these awesome Zarnley fan emotes too. They're pretty neat. So
that's true.
you know,
Yeah.
It wouldn't
um,
have happened if not for that.
yeah. So another cool stream that you've been doing on Sundays, I don't know if it's every Sunday or not, but is the movie club. I don't know if it was
Yeah.
your first episode, but I caught one of your guys' episodes a few weeks back, and that was super interesting. You guys really like break down the movie and get into it. I mean, way deeper than I would have
Yeah.
imagined. It was pretty cool.
This is I want to hear
We
about this.
tried to, yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah. So
how
like
does it
along the
work?
same lines. Yeah, so along the same lines of like trying to involve the community more, try to think of different ways to use the platform that we have, aside from games, is to bring in some sort of community event that people can participate in, assuming that they have access to like an internet connection where they can stream movies, or a subscription service that they have, that we can take advantage of. And so one of those is a movie club, and we also do a book club. So the first Sunday of the month is a book club, and we kind of decide on a book previously, like a month in advance, as a community, and then we read that book, and then on the first Sunday of every month, we get together and we talk about it as a group. And it's been going really, really well. And then Lizard, the movie club, is the third Sunday of the month.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, and then same process. We just pick a movie that either some of us have seen, but not all of us, or one that is meaningful to a certain person in the community. And then we kind of break it down and we talk about it. Um, and you can always count on me and some of my co-hosts to go a little bit too in depth. I'm an open book. I tend to wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm not afraid, even as a man, to talk about emotions and mental health. So that's
That's
definitely
awesome.
something that we get into.
That's super cool. I love that. So you do each the book club and the movie club once a month on
Yeah,
separate days. That's cool.
yeah.
So do you do with I guess movies and the books? Do you kind of mess around with a bunch of different genres? Do you stick to kind of one thing? What do you guys like to do?
So at least for the book club, we've been doing a lot of fiction. However, Starting in 2021, we're going to alternate. So we're going to do 1 month nonfiction, and anything from historical nonfiction to self-help to psychology to philosophy. Um, there's a lot of different ways to go in terms of nonfiction. And then our fiction books, we've done everything from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy to 1984 to Edgar Allan Poe's short stories in October for Halloween. Um, for the movie club in December, we watched It's a Wonderful Life. So I mean, if there happens to be a general theme for the month, we might, lean towards that a little bit. But otherwise, it's just based on community feedback. And
Awesome.
um, I send out a Google form where the community votes on what book and movie we want to watch, and we decide from there.
Man, I gotta check that out. I love
It's
reading.
super
So
cool. Yeah,
that's super cool.
the movie club that I ended up watching them. It was November. I'm not sure which one you guys.
Short Term 12, I believe.
Yeah, I had never watched it, but I mean they were really breaking down that movie. I mean they were talking about like characters' moods during like certain scenes and stuff. I'm like, wow, this is
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, do you have a Discord or something that you post that in?
I do, yeah. So,
Okay.
so I have Discord for me and my community to jump into and continue the conversation off stream. So it's just another way to keep the community engaged
Yeah.
and interacting.
Yeah.
And that's cool because it sounds like you're bringing in multiple ways to do that back in so that everyone feels involved. So that's really cool. I like that.
Well, and the nice thing about the whole thing is that it's completely optional, right? You can still be a
Right.
member of the community. I have a lot of people that don't actually participate in the book reading itself, but they still like to listen to us break it down and talk about the book. And I have to say, so yesterday was the first Sunday of the month, so it was a book club Sunday, and it was probably one of my favorite streams that I've ever done. And we didn't even read a specific book. It was a show and tell type style where you just brought a book that you either recently read or that means a lot to you, and tell us about it. Why do you like it? Recommend it. And we had people pop in, from chat to voice chat and then hop out. It was great. It was a really good
That's
time.
super cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
Man,
do you
I'll
have
definitely
a
have to set up one of those streams sometime.
do you have a favorite book and favorite movie?
Favorite book is To Kill a Mockingbird.
That's a great one.
It's a book that I read as probably a fifth grader, maybe, and I had absolutely no interest in it at the time. Like
Yeah,
I was reading
naturally.
it because it was assigned to me, right?
Right.
And that is the worst way to read anything. I work in public education, so I feel like I might be a little bit blasphemous for saying it, but assigned reading is not the way to get a kid to like to read. um,
I agree.
um, so anyway, yeah, To Kill a Mockingbird, I ended up reading it again as a teenager, got more out of that experience, and then have read it at least 2 other times, if not more, since. Yeah, it's a great book.
I have to read that. We never had to read that, so I never.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'll have to
That's a good one.
definitely. check
I read
out.
that one when I was in elementary school as well, and I hated it, and then read it again when I was in high school and really enjoyed it. So,
Mm.
what's your favorite movie?
Probably Shaun of the Dead.
I've never seen it.
Shaun of the Dead
to
is
be
probably.
honest.
Are you serious?
Look, I'm
Oh my
I'm
God.
behind
I've never
in
either,
life.
so
I'll watch it just for you
All right.
and report
just
back.
make a list.
Yeah. It's not a horror movie, so don't worry, Lizard.
Okay.
It's actually more of a comedy than anything else.
See, whenever
So yeah,
when I hear that title, I picture like somewhat like have you ever watched Shaun the Sheep or whatever? I picture like that in
yeah.
Pet Cemetery style. And yeah, so clearly that's
No,
probably not what it is.
no.
Okay.
Not even close. No. A very close runner-up, and sometimes I interchange this as my favorite movie, is Twister.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
Twister's
one.
cool.
That's
Yeah,
classic.
good.
I've
Yeah,
seen
that's
that.
I will
was gonna
watch
Okay,
Shaun of
say,
the Dead
the
for
one
you.
with, can you repeat the name of the first one that you were saying? That me and Lizard have never
Sh-
seen.
Shaun of the Dead.
Okay.
I'll
Gotta
have to
watch
watch
it.
that for sure. That's my goal this week. To find it and
It'll
watch it.
be a game changer.
Probably. Raven, do you have a
Yeah.
favorite book and movie?
I'm so bad. I don't like picking favorites because I just
That's
like
fair.
love. There'll be times that I read stuff that I absolutely love it then, and then
That's fair.
read something else when I'm in a different mood or different, like experiencing different emotions and go through different. I go through a lot of different phases with books where I'll just read poetry for a while, or just read self-help, or just like to dive into fiction. So I feel like it's truly like a mood slash emotion, whatever I'm going through at the moment thing.
That's fair.
So I don't really like have a favorite, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
because I like so much different things. But I do love reading and watching movies sometimes.
For sure. Yeah. My favorite book is The Man Who Loved Clowns. I don't know if you've ever read that, Tim.
I've never heard of that.
I read it when I was in elementary school and I loved it, and it's still a great book. And I never knew it would apply to my actual job that I have right now. So
That
much.
sounds so familiar. I'm trying to. That sounds really familiar.
It's
but I
it's a
can't.
really good book. You should totally check it out if you can find it
Yeah.
anywhere. It's seriously a great book. And then I don't really have a favorite movie on top of my head, but my favorite movie that I've watched recently is Coco, the animated movie.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
really good.
that's a good one.
Me and Caitlin watched that last week, so yeah, it was really good.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
So 2020 just ended, so I probably shouldn't bring it back up, but like kind of have to at this
Oh,
point
it's
because
okay.
we don't have much to go off in 2021 so far. How was your 2020 overall?
Sure.
I know, like, COVID's crazy and stuff, but at the same time, for us
Yeah.
at least, we've met so many great, amazing people that we talk to every single day, and it's been
Yeah, I
it's
would say
been
lots of
kinda
highs, lots
wild.
of lows.
Yeah,
just very
exactly.
crazy years. So
Yeah, Raven, I mean, that's a good way to put it, right? Lots of highs, lots of lows. I feel like most years I just kind of live it and don't really think too much about it. This year, however, was super, super different. So because I live in Des Moines, most of my family lives still in Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia area still. And um, while the United States hasn't been as strict as other countries in the world in regards to lockdowns and things like that, I have still been taking it really seriously, and so is my family. Um, and so I haven't seen them in over a year.
that's rough.
Aside from that, like something like this, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so this was the first I don't go back for every holiday, but usually I go back for Christmas, and I'll go back in the summertime because I'm off work. And this was the first year that I didn't get to do any of that, and so that was rough. That's the lows. Um,
Mhm.
I would say that overall, I have probably fared better than a lot of people in 2020 because I never was unemployed. My job continued to pay me even though school shut down in the spring. Luckily, they continued to pay. Um, and I had a job to come back to when school started up again. And um, I s- I started streaming right before the pandemic hit, which I feel like was such crazy timing because I got to meet so many more people and establish well, not I mean I was already part of online communities, but I was able to establish my own online community. And so I never felt like even though I was stuck at home, I never felt like I was too far from someone. I always had people to talk to if I wanted to talk to people. I had people to play games with. I had these hobbies that were already kind of, assuming that you have an internet connection, you're good for a pandemic. I'm
Yeah.
I'm also an introvert. That might not be something that you guys know about me. So being an introvert too, I feel like I wasn't necessarily dying to get back out into the real world. So
That's fair.
You pretty much nailed
Dang
that.
it.
I feel the same way. I'm like,
Do you? Okay.
I'm such an introvert that I'm like, man, I love having an excuse to not have to leave the house.
Right.
And I love getting on here and talking to everybody, through streaming, through gaming. And I feel like that's how I make my connections. And that's how I'm satisfied, I guess, enough to where I don't feel like I need to get out into the outside world. But
No, I
especially,
was talking to my therapist about that.
yeah,
Yeah, I literally said I kind of feel guilty saying like that this has been okay.
Yeah.
Like I've been okay with this, and I know that that is not the case for so many people, and so there's like an element of guilt that I feel. But yeah, kind of like what you said, Raven. I mean, it's kind of I was made for this.
yeah,
Right.
right.
It's kind of
Exactly.
great. Yeah, we're
And
definitely
it's like
lucky.
the best excuse. God, it like sucks to say because you hate to put it like that, but it's almost also like the best excuse that you can finally have
Right.
to be like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not out. And yeah, I totally see what you're saying. Like it's hard to say that, but it definitely feels that way. So I
Yeah.
feel you on that. I'm not, I'm 16, 17 hours away from my family too. So that aspect is very lonely. I'm very close to my family and love them. But everything else about being here in my house, I'm cool with.
Right. As long as I can get groceries like delivered or I
Right.
can just pick them up, that's it. I'm
I know
good.
there's
Right.
grocery pickup now. I'm like, dude, I'm set.
Right?
It's pretty nice.
Yeah. I mean, what about you guys? Do you feel like overall your 2020s was it good? Did you have something that I guess was meaningful to you that stands out as like either an accomplishment or just something that was good?
You go
Um,
first. You kind of had a crazy.
I
We
had
both
a
crazy years.
crazy 2020. I lost both of my grandmothers in 2020, and the second time it was during COVID because it was in September, a few weeks before mine and Caitlin's wedding, and I really thought hard whether I should go or not, and Caitlin kind of talked me into it. She's like, "You'll regret it forever," so we went. Naturally, being from the Midwest, no one but my family wore masks, and we got COVID. So we had to quarantine and pretty much cancel our wedding plans. But we ended up getting married Ravenclaw and her husband ended up coming down and being
Oh,
there.
that's so cool.
Yeah, and then our parents, and that was it. And it was honestly perfect.
It was perfect though.
Yeah, it's
for
not what
it
we
was, it
imagined,
was
but I
great.
wouldn't change a thing. It was perfect. So I mean, I got married and I got involved in this awesome Twitch community and made literally some of the best friends I've ever made in my entire life in 2020. So overall, I feel like the good outweighs the bad.
That's good.
So I mean, I like you as well. I still had a job to go to and get paid and all, so that was nice. But overall it was good, so can't
I'll
complain.
just say mine was like a roller coaster. I feel like because it was just a year like I had never experienced anything like that before. In 2019, my husband deployed for the first time ever, so that was like in the fall. So that was like a whirlwind of emotions, and then so I spent the first half of 2021 with him gone, on top of a pandemic. And then I remember he was supposed to be home from his deployment in March, and that's literally when COVID got crazy. So it got extended for another couple months. So I was like just riding a roller coaster of emotions. Luckily, I had moved back home for his deployment, so I was spending actually a lot of time with Lizard and KPS. So they kind of helped keep me sane through it, I feel like, because luckily I was hanging out with them a bunch and then just with family a bunch. So, and then finally I got to come back here, and then my husband came home in May, at the very end of May. So that was like, we had some really low lows, but then that was like one of the probably like the best moment of my life that I've ever experienced. And so like that was awesome. And so I kind of got to experience like a really high, and then just kind of like managing COVID, you know, kind of the new norms, fit, like seeing where I fit into that. It's been crazy. But I got into streaming just like 3 months now, I think. So that's been great, kind of like you said earlier, Tim, to have that social aspect and that social connection still, to make have that community with others, still feel involved, and still be able to be safe and, you know, do everything that we should be doing. Um, but that's been yeah, I guess just a lot of good and some hard times, but thankfully no, nothing on the COVID side. My husband and I got COVID, but we were fine. Luckily, no one in our families have had any terrible experiences, so I'm very thankful in that aspect. But it's just been, I think, a roller coaster of a year.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, yeah. Wow. Okay, so here's a question for you guys. Now I'll be the podcast host. How do you guys know each other? Like well enough to like go to their wedding? That's pretty
Um,
intense.
They went to
well,
our wedding too.
yeah.
Oh
Actually, no,
wow.
that's kind of so. Me and his wife, Caitlin, obviously KP, we have been best friends since middle school. We went to school together,
Wow.
and my husband as well. All three of us went to school together since we were young. So we were best friends through middle school. So when my husband and I were getting married, Caitlin had started dating Lizard. And that's the first time I ever met him. She brought him as her guest to our wedding.
Yep.
So our
Oh
wedding was the
wow,
very
that's so
time
cool.
that we had met Skylar, which now is like really cool because to look back on all that. And then right after my wedding, my husband went off to boot camp for the military, and I actually moved in with Lizard and KP. So I lived with
Oh,
them. Heck, I
okay.
lived
Cool.
with them for a solid probably what 3 different times now,
Yeah, 2 or 3
on
for sure.
depending on what life has thrown at me. And it was really funny because I was best friends with Caitlin, but didn't really know Skylar, and I moved in. And then with the job schedules, Caitlin was always gone, and Skylar was always home. So I
Oh
actually got
sure.
to like know him really well. And
She really
I don't know.
improved at Call of Duty.
Yeah. Skylar taught me everything I ever
I was addicted.
had to learn about Call of Duty because I was so bored. I got like into these when my husband was deployed. I was working. I picked up like just a minimum wage retail job just because I moved down there for that period of time or whatever, just to keep
Sure.
me occupied. But I was still like bored, and so I picked up Call of Duty. Never touched it in my life, and we were up every night till like 4 a.m. He was teaching me
Did you ever play
how
the
to
infected
play.
game mode, Tim? It's
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I have. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everyone
It was
has
in
the
the
same
last game,
gun.
right?
One person starts with a
My
Yeah.
pistol, and whenever they
Oh
get
man,
kills, it's throwing knives only. And as you kill people, you go to the infected team. We played that
we played that
literally till
every
4
night.
a.m. like every night.
Yeah, so fun. So yeah,
Such
that's
a
how
good
we know
game
each
mode.
other. So now, yeah, they were at our wedding. We flew back down to make it to their wedding, and I'd say like they're my husband and I's best friends for sure. I feel like we always have a blast, you know, no matter
For
what.
sure. We all talk
So
together to each other like every day and stuff still. But
yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
made
but
a I made
that's
a pretty good first impression at their wedding. I showed up. I weighed 100 pounds less, and I drank all their beer that they
he
had.
was
So it was a
tiny. He
good
had
time.
barely like hardly any facial hair.
Yeah, just
He
a,
was he
a
was a
young'un.
different,
It was fun.
respectable gentleman. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
Oh.
how things change,
All right.
especially after married life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the truth.
But
It's
yeah,
fun.
2020 is definitely one that everyone will remember as time goes on
It
in their
is.
history forever. And I'm hoping 2021 is going to be better. You have any goals for this year? That's
Oh, yeah.
probably my last question I
Happy
have
New
is
Year, by the way.
what? Yeah, Happy New
I don't
Year.
think I ever
What's your
Yeah, happy New Year to you.
what's your
feels really
2021
good.
goals? Do you have any? Streaming wise, life wise, anything?
Yeah,
I
anything.
mean, I'm not a resolutions guy, but I do have some loose goals. Some like personal goals are just to I want to look for a different job. I want to see what else is capable. What else is out there with the degrees that I have. So just kind of like a little bit of a personal exploration, in terms of jobs, because um like I said, it's this job I don't feel like is sustainable. It's it's hard. It's just
Yeah.
really hard.
Yeah.
And but hey, being on that millennial train, I got student debt out my butt, and I also feel like I have to work in public service for 10 years in order for there to be any sort of a fraction of a forgiveness
Yeah.
in order to happen.
What are your degrees in?
So I have a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in education. Um, and then on top of that, I have a certification in school psychology, and that kind of like marries the two degrees
Yeah.
together. So I'm
And
a
you
school
are in schools
psychologist.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, which is different than a guidance counselor. I'll tell you
So what?
that.
Yeah. Are you in high school, elementary? Like what?
So I serve students age 5 to 21.
Okay.
Um, so basically kindergarten to 12th grade. And I mostly work with students in special education, which is where that age 21 comes in, because those with significant disabilities can return to school and kind of continue to go to school, and they are allowed extra time to increase their skills that they're acquiring up to age 21. So, um, but even more, specialized in special ed, I mostly work with challenging behavior. So I work with students that I get kicked, bit, spit at, cussed at, punched, kicked, whatever. Like I just the whole gamut, right? Um, and also students that have, or I shouldn't say have, should say, um, engage in self harm.
Yeah.
So,
I bet that's
uh,
very, like you said, physically taxing, I'm sure. So.
yeah. I mean, on the days where where I'm getting beat up,
Mhm.
that's the physical part of that. But uh, you know, then there's the emotional toll that it takes on
Mhm.
you as well.
Yep.
And just yeah, right now I just feel like I'm at a point where I can't affect change very well. Like I write behavior plans for teachers and for adults that work with these kids, um, so that the kiddos are happy and the teachers are happy because they're doing work, and I try to make that better, and I try to provide a service to them that is going to help them as they get older. But the public education system is a mess,
Yeah.
and it's hard to affect change at this level. And so, you know, I'm kind of interested in pursuing either something at a higher level, like within the Department of Education, whether that's a state level position, or maybe even further. So we'll see. I'm just at this point, I'm interested in whatever is out there.
No,
It's
that's
exciting.
great mindset and goals to
Yeah,
have for sure. I
for
feel
sure.
like.
Yeah. Streaming goals, I think, growing is always something that you want to do, but I'm also just looking to maintain. I want to continue to keep people engaged, and I want people to keep coming back. I always say you don't have to, there's no pressure at all to sub to my channel. If you're in chat, that means more to
Hmm.
me than anything.
For sure.
Um, that's why I'm doing this. Like I'm not doing this necessarily for the sub aspect of things. I'm looking to meet people, make friends, and to provide some form of entertainment for you. And I had a friend recently say, "I don't know how you can stream," and I'm like, "Well, I- it people keep coming back. I mean, I must
Right.
be
Yeah.
doing something
It's
right."
truly the
Yeah, for
people.
sure.
Yeah. The people make it for sure.
It's definitely a
Yeah.
lot different than what I kind of intended. So when I started, it was like 3 years ago, and I was like, I'm gonna make money streaming playing Fortnite. Yeah, that never happened.
It's like I'm gonna be a famous Fortnite streamer.
But then whenever you kind of like get into a community, your priorities change, and it's really awesome. So like nowadays, it's more like let's make friends and bring them into the community. That way, they're involved, and it's really fun. So
it is. It's been a blast.
So it's like growth, but in a different way. So it's good.
Yeah.
Cool. Raven, do you have any more questions?
No, I need to address chat eventually when we get towards the end, but
well, we're over an hour mark now. If we want to go ahead and turn to the chat for questions, if you guys have any for Tim.
And then I do want to say
myself or Raven.
Rach from Nerdy Curious says you're doing amazing work, Tim. Which absolutely agree.
Oh, thank you.
Education system needs an overhaul. Wish the government would step up and make education a priority. Absolutely. I definitely understand. Most of my family is teachers. So I definitely see that, how overworked, underpaid, how messy the whole system is, the people that make the decisions. I could go on and on. So anyone who works in public education, definitely give a huge shout out to you, because it's not easy.
Yep. And I work with individuals with disabilities too. That's literally my job. So I definitely kind of feel you there. Yeah. So
and I've done a lot with special needs as well. So I totally understand what that can be like.
For sure.
But it's very rewarding too. So.
Yeah, chats. Go ahead, ask questions as they're coming in. I just want to say, one thing I really respect about Tim that you'll find in his chat is he works really hard to make sure that no one ever gets offended or feels left out, and he goes above and beyond more than anyone I've ever seen, which is really awesome. Like, you can come to him about anything, and he'll make sure that like in no way, shape, or form anyone will feel uncomfortable, and I really love that. So. Yeah,
I appreciate that, Lizard.
It's pretty cool.
I try. I really do try. It doesn't always, sometimes it doesn't happen. But the effort's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate
that. That is great,
though.
because every single person that comes into your chat, like, everyone's from different places. Everyone has different backgrounds. Like, we're all so different, especially in a community like this. That's a great mindset to have, honestly.
Void really wants to know what your most disliked game is.
Oh.
Most disliked game.
Worst game of all time. Somewhere in that realm.
That's a really good question.
Mine's got to be Fortnite, but it's also my favorite of all time, so I don't know how that goes.
See, I didn't play much Fortnite.
What'd you say, Lizard?
I said Fortnite's my most disliked, but it's also my favorite, so like I don't know how that goes.
I'm gonna think about that. I'm gonna think about that a little bit. Nothing like pops out into my head as like a game that I really didn't like, or care for. I don't know. That's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
I'm sure that there's one. But when I play a game, it's one of those things where I try to have an open mind when I'm playing it, so as to not just completely drop it.
I was gonna say, I feel like almost every game you can at least pick something that you can get out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
I agree with Lizard. For me, it's definitely like the love-hate I get with like games like Call of Duty or whatever, where you'll be addicted and then you'll want nothing to do with it, and then you'll be addicted.
Yeah. I mean, Warzone was something that I raged at the most, but I also put in a ton of time into. So, but by the end of my play time in Warzone, I was getting pretty sweaty. And so I was getting like really frustrated when I would have a top 5 finish, but didn't win.
For sure.
Yeah, chat. Feel free to ask some questions for Tim or
Yeah,
anyone.
bring in the questions, guys.
Dominic says, "What's everyone's go-to superhero names for themselves?" We already know Wizards of Sky.
Stop! Get out of here.
Oh my god!
I don't think
Dominic's just trolling.
yeah.
So I'm just.
I'm a big Batman fan. I'll just shift the question that Dominic asked. So my favorite superhero is Batman.
Yeah, Batman's the best.
I don't know. I don't really know much about the superheroes, I guess. I was never like really into that, so I couldn't really tell you anything about.
I wasn't too into Marvel, but I was always a big
Superman,
DC guy.
Batman, that's about all I know. Okay, Caitlin has a question. For people who are looking into streaming, what did Tim wish he knew before he started?
That's a good one.
That is a good one. I would say that the hardest that I've found anyway, the hardest thing for me to have overcome in terms of streaming is clicking the start streaming button. I can't tell you how many times I've sat here with OBS open. I've been ready to go. I've had my socials ready to tweet out that I'm going to stream. And then I would either get some form of anxiety, whether it be performance or just like not feeling like I have the energy to do it and just never clicking start streaming in OBS. And so I kind of wish that more streamers talked about that, because I'll become like I am throwing you guys a softball, but most streamers that I talk to struggle with that too, or have struggled with it anyway. And so I feel like that was something that I didn't know before I actually got into streaming. And just to be kind to yourself, that's also something. I've heard of streamers saying that they can't stick to a schedule, and that they would kind of get down on themselves. And as a viewer, I didn't really think much of it until I started streaming, and then I realized that I also have difficulty sticking to a schedule. So yeah, I mean, kind to yourself, try not to feel guilty if you can't stream when you say you're going to stream, because at the end of the day, as a viewer, I want to see you when you're feeling okay and when you're feeling good to stream. If you're not feeling good to stream, then chances are the content isn't going to be, where it should be or where you would like it to be as a viewer or as a content creator. So yeah, that's.
And if you are new or wanting to stream, like, you don't have to have a schedule just because you see other people having a schedule. I've never had a schedule because I know that would be very anxiety inducing for me. I know I would have much more fun if I just do it when I want to do it. So it's like, that's definitely not something that you have to have just because you see other people doing it, just because things that work for other people are not always going to work for you. And you just kind of have to learn what works for you.
For sure. Yeah, we've actually covered that in the last two podcasts. I'm surprised that we forgot to today. But yeah, me and Raven both have kind of like social anxiety, sort of, when it comes to streaming. At least, like, it may not show, but like that's definitely there. Not so much anymore as it was, but that's kind of like why I got into streaming, was just to kind of combat that. So I mean, it's a good way too, for sure. But
yeah, we've definitely talked about this before, but like, I'll be the first to tell you, like, I struggle with anxiety all day long, every day. It's definitely always a fight, but this has helped get myself out there a little more. For me, one of the hardest things that I had to learn that I had no idea I'd have to deal with streaming is like you mentioned it earlier, like the performance-based anxiety that comes with picking a game, or a game that like lots of people have played, lots of people liked, and then they want to come on and watch you play it. And I like have a very hard time letting myself be a beginner, because I am a beginner in all aspects of gaming, streaming. I have literally no history with this. So I am a beginner, and that's been like the hardest thing for me, is to allow myself to be a beginner without feeling guilty. And there's been multiple times that I'm like, man, I really want to stream this game, but I'm not going to because I don't want people to come in and look at me learning how to play, looking at me being a beginner, basically. And so that's, I
Right,
was
right.
telling Blizzard, I think a podcast or two ago, like that's definitely one of my goals for this year is to kind of be able to put myself out there in a way where I play the games I want to play without getting anxiety or feeling bad about me having to be a beginner and learn.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean that's a really good point. Um, what's interesting is that I feel that way about FPS games. So like I feel like perfect example. I don't know if you guys know Gagad. He was a mixer partner. He's a big PUBG Call of Duty guy. But he streams. He's really really good. Like he competes in tournaments and wins,
Hmm.
and that's why I watch him, because I want to watch somebody be good at that game.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to stream it, I feel like it's, unless you want to watch me lose over and over again, that's not great content, in my opinion. So um, that's just me. That's me being hard on myself. But actually, Raven, you kind of said about feeling like you don't want to look like a beginner. I've had really good streams with games like actually Subnautica, where it doesn't really tell you a whole lot up front. You kind of have to discover and figure it out yourself. That chat has come in, and I would get like random people coming in, and I just put in my stream title like, "Hey, first time playing," or "new to the
Yeah.
game," or something
Hmm.
like that, and they'd be super super nice and helpful, and they'd give me tips when I wanted it, but not over, not to
Mm-hmm.
the extreme where
Right.
they're like telling me everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it's been really cool experiences to play those types of games too.
That's always the
Yeah.
best. I know when I started Let's Go Eevee, my first time playing it, I had a guy in chat's like, "Hey, I want to give you something." He gave me a shiny Charmander, so I'm like,
Wow,
"Okay, cool, I'll take it. Thanks."
Super cool.
Sounds
that's
cool.
Yeah.
wild.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that was what I was gonna say. The thing I wish I would have known before I started streaming was people probably aren't gonna be there to watch how good you are at a game, but more for yourself.
Mm.
Because like
Absolutely.
I started with Fortnite. I thought I was the crap in Fortnite. I wasn't. And I'm definitely not at Call of Duty either. But yeah, once I started focusing more on chat or who I'm playing with rather than how good I am, it makes you better. And I mean, by all means, if you are crazy good at a game,
It's
go
awesome.
for it. And
Yeah.
that's awesome. People will watch you if you're crazy good. But a lot of times, at least in my case, I mean, that's not the
And
case.
that
So,
is true. Like the community has been here every time,
right.
I've streamed, and I'm sure it's the same as you guys, whether you are playing a game you've played for a long time or a new game, or are good at it or have sucked at it. So I know that's more of just something that I've created anxiety for myself. It's not, no one else came in and really made me feel like
No.
that. It's just something you kind of have to work through. But your community, like if you do build that community, they'll show up for you regardless,
Right.
which is really cool to see.
Yeah, I think that you nailed it, Raven, because ultimately that's why I want people showing up, right? I don't want to be playing a game just because it's the new hotness,
Mhm.
and that because I like want people to I'm trying to attract people because that's the new game that everybody's playing. I want to play games that I like and that I find enjoyable, and hopefully they like me enough to come and hang out and watch what I'm playing.
Yeah.
And so that's actually why I shifted away from Warzone, is that I felt like back in the Mixer days, again, that's mostly when I streamed Warzone, was back on Mixer, and I felt like felt a little bit of a pressure to like try to get more followers, try to bring in a new audience. It wasn't happening. I was just getting sweaty at Call of Duty, and I started to not enjoy it. Like I didn't enjoy the game, and I wasn't enjoying the streams at the same time. So I remember having a conversation with one of my community members, and he's like, "Tim, the most like fun I've seen you have on streams is like some of the indie titles that you've played or games that have a more chill vibe. He's like, I'm not telling you what to do, but if you're asking me for advice, maybe you should just kind of reflect on things that make you feel good and things that fill your bucket rather than take from your bucket.
Absolutely.
And Warzone at the time was taking from my bucket. And so yeah,
It's a
that's
good way to
why
look at it.
you're gonna pop into my stream and I'm gonna be playing a game you never heard of, but
That's
it's
awesome. Yeah.
it's also good because I get to show you a game that I like.
That's super cool. I love that. Yeah, for sure. Just know that if you are new, like you don't have to be the best at anything. You can mess around with whatever you want to do. It's the community that matters, not necessarily the game you're playing. Before I ever streamed, the people that I followed and would consistently watch their streams, I hardly half the time I didn't even look at what the game said, like
For
what the
sure.
game they were playing was. Like I literally wanted to be there to interact with chat, to interact with them, to interact with the community and have a good time. I didn't care necessarily what game they were playing. And sure, it's fun to watch, but I wouldn't make my decision of whether or not to watch someone that I enjoyed based off the game title. It was based off the community.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question from Void. He wants to know if you're excited for Halo Infinite.
It's a good question. Also, to circle back around, I'll answer Void's last question by saying The Lion King on SNES. It's the bane of my existence.
Sorry, I just capped out my mic, just dying of laughter there.
Right. That is, to this day, I've gone back and played like remastered versions of it. I still can't get past the second level, guys. It is a game
Oh
that
my
forever
goodness.
evades me. So yeah, that's the game that I'm gonna choose that I least like. Okay, so am I excited for Halo Infinite? No. I was a very, very big critic of the E3 showing that they had. I was like, what the heck is this? Like, just awful game preview. I was like, cool, like Halo. I mean, I'll always take more Halo, but at the same time, it looked so bad. It looked bad. And
Yeah.
I remember talking to Tony because Tony's a big Halo guy too. And he was really pumped about it. And I was like, trying not to, rain on his parade, but I was like, this looks bad. And if it's due out in November, this is a big yikes.
I'm excited to see what changes they've
Same.
made, because I don't know if you knew this, Raven, but they were supposed to release it in November, I think, and they got so much criticism that they're like, okay, we'll push it back so we can do it right. And I'm really hoping that they do it right, because
games trying to just push out a date and the quality is not there. So
yeah, you see it with
time to be doing that.
You see it with Cyberpunk too. I mean, Cyberpunk's a cool game. It really is. It's mind blowing. But
a game like that has so much hype behind it, so much criticism.
Yeah,
so much.
It's just one of those things where I don't know.
Absolutely.
But I do actually have a question for you, Tim. We talked a lot about the games that you've been playing. Is there any games that you have in mind that you have on your list to start or to play that you're really looking forward to playing?
Yeah. I just hold up. Let me just pull it up for a second just to make sure I get the title right. I think it's called like Summer in Mara. Yeah, it's a video game. It's called Summer in Mara. I just picked it up on the Nintendo Switch, and it's a game that I think is similar to Stardew Valley mixed with Harvest Moon. It looks pretty cool. I like the animation style. It seems up my alley. I like a little bit of farming. I like a little farming simulator. So that's a game that I have on my list. And also, I want to play more Hades. I don't know if you guys played that or not.
I haven't played it, but I've watched a lot of people play it. I think Zarn played it for a while. And I'm not
played it.
I'm not
Green
sure
might
if
have played it too.
yeah, I'm not sure if Jerome from Ginger Gaming played it or not, but I know he was going to. I don't recall, but yeah, it's a very good game from what I've heard. So
Yeah, it's really, really good. Excellent soundtrack. It's from the same people that made Transistor and Bastion. Supergiant Games is the name of the developer, and
nice.
I love both of those games. So
Sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, me and Caitlin just started Stardew Valley, and I'm kind of addicted. So
I
it's,
thought I almost I
buddy.
thought about it's like what?
you gotta try it.
$14.99 on Switch or something.
It's
I'm
like $10 on PC.
oh, what? Really?
It's really
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, I got that Steam
Yeah.
gift too.
it's really cool.
Deposit.
I recommend it.
That's right.
So back kind of what we were talking about earlier, I just wanted to, for anyone that is new, the people in chat are definitely backing up what we were talking about. Wicked Dime says it's always the streamer and the community, not the game.
Yep.
Nerdy Curious says, as someone who isn't a gamer, I'm surprised how I've really enjoyed watching some of my favorite people gaming. It's definitely not the games, it's the people. So I feel like that's kind of definitely a common theme, that should make any beginner, or even just us that have been doing it, it just makes you feel better for sure. Caitlin, said, game, don't understand games, but I'm on Twitch a lot because of friendship.
For sure, 100%.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
like definitely a common theme. We're all here for each other, so
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think, to go back just a little bit on what I said about Call of Duty and why I stopped streaming Call of Duty, it's because I was getting frustrated and I didn't like, I didn't feel as though people watch me get frustrated. Like if I was doing it in a comical way, great, but I was really just kind of like being in a sulky, mess. It was not good. It just wasn't good. I didn't like it, and I don't think anybody else enjoyed it either. So
For sure.
And honestly, the positive people that are stream that really have all the the positive feelings and the positive vibes, like that's what I think a lot of us get the most out of, because I think that's why a lot of us go to streaming or go to watching Twitch, is to, help chill, help relax, help make our day better. So I definitely understand that.
Mm-hmm. There any more questions in chat?
And thank you guys so much for hanging out today.
Yeah, for sure. You guys are awesome.
To have Intimidator on. I'm gonna go ahead and shout out him so you guys can all go follow him.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys.
Intimidator, just Intimidator, right? No numbers behind it for Twitch.
There's a 1.
There's one.
Yeah, there is. There's a 1.
Capital I,
and that's
capital
the other thing.
TIM.
Oh wait, no, maybe I didn't do it right.
So Intimidator1 is a gamer tag that I came up with when I was, 13, 14. When Xbox Live first came out, I was one of the first adopters to Xbox Live. And so I was coming up with a gamer tag, and I wanted something that had my name in it and something that made me sound tough. The furthest thing from intimidating. And so, maybe 2021 will be like a brand renaming. So stay tuned for that. It's definitely something that I've thought about, because I don't want to give off that vibe that I'm intimidating. I'm like the least thing from it.
Yeah.
Just like we don't want
to
give off the vibe.
Very welcoming, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, Robbie,
for
thanks
sure.
for fixing that shout out.
Yeah, I came up with my name when I was 12. I meant for Xbox 360. I meant to make it Lizard Nuts because I was 12. Okay, and I misspelled it, and I was like, okay, yep, forever. That's my name. So
that's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think Ravenclaw's name is self-explanatory if you've seen Harry Potter.
Obviously, I'm a nerd, and
I've never watched or read Harry Potter, but
I have been sorted into the Ravenclaw house.
So what's your house then, Lizard?
I've never seen it or watched it
Slytherin.
or read the books. Yeah, she kind of hates me for that. She never
Oh my
lets me live that one
Yeah, he's
down.
never.
I'll do it one day.
Someday you should take the house sorting quiz just so you can be like, oh
Yeah, at least do that. Yeah.
All right, I'll do that for sure.
If anyone wants to check out what house they are, go to Pottermore website. That is where you can officially be sorted into one of the Hogwarts houses.
Okay,
Pottermore. It's the official legit site for sorting.
got a couple
Have you done that,
questions
Tim?
here.
Yeah, I have. And I've read the books. I've watched the movies. I've been to Universal, to Harry Potter World. I haven't seen like the latest, whatever, like the new thing that they released a couple
haven't
years
either.
ago.
The beast thing,
What's
right?
your house?
The mythical beast. Is that what you're talking about?
Fantastic
Hufflepuff.
Beasts.
Yeah.
You're Hufflepuff. I've never
Yeah.
done any of the Reddit or seen any of the extras actually either, but
I need to
have a
watch
hard
the
time
movies.
because of how much I just love the original and how they could have gone off of that, but I feel like I don't know. I just don't know.
I need to watch the movies
Yeah.
because I'm actually really excited for the Harry Potter game that's coming out this year. Is it
Okay,
coming out
let's
this year or did it already come out?
Yeah.
So that would be cool.
Let's go, Caitlin.
Void wants to know what your favorite food is.
Sushi.
Never had sushi.
Sushi.
I like
God,
California
dude,
roll.
Yo, when the pandemic is done, we're just gonna watch Shaun of the Dead. We're gonna order sushi, and we're gonna do all the things that you haven't been able to do so
Harry
far in
Potter
your young life.
Harry Potter marathon or something.
Yeah, this is the perfect time to go through all the Harry Potters. My husband had never seen any of them. He swore he was gonna hate it, and then finally he watched them all with me and loved it. So definitely.
Somnic wants to know if the Unkindness Lounge is going to cross over with the Trash Squad in Verdansk. I don't know. I mean, I'm down.
I mean, I'm the definition of trash when it comes to Warzone.
I'm down, but not until they take the DMR out of the game because that gun just rules right now. I don't know if you've seen anything about Warzone in the past couple of weeks, but there's a gun. It's a semi-auto rifle that two-taps people no matter what health they have. So I've tried to play a couple games off stream, and I'm not.
I've seen clips. I've seen clips of it. At least when I left Warzone, there was a whole lot of cheating happening.
Yeah.
And I just feel like the developers are in it for the money, not necessarily for fixing the game. And so the Grau was insanely unbalanced for the longest time. The MP5, same thing. And so this is just the latest in weapons that are insanely unbalanced.
Yeah, for sure. This one's a little too much for me.
Right. This one seems crazy.
Did you ever play the Zombies game mode back in October?
No.
Oh my gosh, that was the most
Oh,
fun I ever
that was a
had.
blast.
That was the most fun I ever had in Call of Duty.
And that was perfect because that was when we were all getting burned out of Warzone.
Right, it was so much fun. The jump scares in the boxes, and then just the infinite times you can come back from collecting
I watched
vials.
a lot of
It was
people
of
play
fun.
it.
It was fun.
But
It was
I didn't
fun.
play it myself.
Yeah. I wish they would bring it back. It was so good, but maybe they will in October.
So, Rach wants us to know that this was a very informative chat, and thank you.
Oh, well, that's great. Thank you.
It's been fun. Time has literally flown. We were supposed to go for an hour, and we're at an hour and 40 right now.
I can't believe it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
and I
literally,
really enjoyed
literally
getting
fun.
to get to know you more, Tim. So
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
And yeah, guys, we did shout him out earlier. Make sure you go and drop him a follow if you want to hang out and listen to his chill voice, calming
100%.
voice.
Go follow Tim if you don't already.
And it's super cool because we'll all get to see some new games you've never seen before. Yeah. And then also my co-host, Lizard Netta, if you're not already following him, which I'm sure most of you are. But
yeah, I think everyone in my chat at least definitely follows Ravenclaw.
So Caitlin just took the house sorting quiz. She said, I got Gryffindor. Is that bad? No, that's not bad at all. Caitlin.
What's the worst one?
Nothing's necessarily bad.
Isn't it like Wigglepuff or something? That's the worst.
So Slytherin is supposed to be like the evil house, but Slytherin is not a bad house. It's just like very powerful dark wizards have came from that house, and it's about how you use your powers. But
okay,
yeah. Rach, So Tim said he's a Hufflepuff as well.
Hufflepuff. That's what it
Huffles,
is.
where are you at?
Yeah.
I
Shout
know-
out to all the Hufflepuff.
I know what
There's not
I know what Quidditch is. Quidditch? Is that it?
Yeah.
Quidditch. I know what that is.
Quidditch.
With the little ball. There used to be a board game when I was a kid that one of my friends had that we played. That was Quidditch. Yeah. Whatever it is, and it was pretty fun. But that's about all I know. You know.
Funny story about Quidditch, real quick. In grad school, there was the college itself had a Quidditch team, and they used to get together, and it was basically LARPing. Like they would just
Yeah.
role play this game of Quidditch out in like on the quad. It was actually really
You
entertaining.
actually
to
see
watch.
that at a lot of state universities now. I'm not even kidding. My college
really?
that I went to didn't have
Yeah.
it, but a lot of them have like literal teams and they take it serious, and it's like
That's so cool.
kind of a real sport. So it's kind of wild.
Yeah,
That's wild.
I know.
I can't
Pretty
wait for the new game. Oh, I'm so excited. That was one game.
It should be good. Yeah.
It looks like that's one I'm fine with them taking their time with. Don't rush that. Make it good.
That's how it should be with all games, right? Just release it when it's ready. Don't pressure them to release it early.
For sure.
But I don't have any more questions on my side.
Yeah, I don't have any last call for questions, chat, because we're about to wrap it up, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks guys for having me.
No, thanks so
Yeah.
much for
Absolutely.
being our guest today.
Void says our cam
Absolutely.
qualities are great.
The what?
Hey, that's
He said our
cam quality?
camera qualities are great. I agree. You guys are looking pretty crisp.
yeah.
Also, Skylar, your haircut, awesome. I love it.
Yep.
I told
I'm
him. Yeah.
Your haircut looks great.
Caitlin cut the hair with beard clippers yesterday, and she actually trimmed my beard and did a good job. I've never been able to trim my beard. I just grow it out and then shave it all off and grow it out again. So it was just getting too homeless for me. And I have really thick hair, and so like the sides of my hair were just so long that at night I was getting so hot, and I kept waking up in the middle of the night. I just couldn't handle it, and so I didn't really give her much of a choice. I was like, if you mess up, I'll shave it off and go bald, but I can't do it, you know. So
Lizard, do you watch UFC?
I used
Do you know
to.
anything about it? Okay, you look like Conor McGregor.
I get that a
does.
lot. Whenever I was 18, just as soon as basketball season was over my senior year, I was allowed to grow facial hair. I grew it out. I had a beard a little bit bigger than this, and my beard is kind of one of those that like comes out kind of like Connor's does. And then I had this same haircut that I have now, which is the one that he had, and I was like 100 pounds lighter, so I got that a lot. They're like, dude, you look just like him, except you're tall and skinny.
That's so funny because I never would have thought of that until he said that. But now I'm like, wow, yeah.
Yeah.
So funny.
I never get told that I look like John Jones ever, but that's okay. Not so much.
Could probably do without that.
Yeah.
Do we want to do like a
McGregor of Wii Boxing.
what? What did you say?
Void called me the McGregor of Wii Boxing.
McGregor? Yes.
You're not wrong.
That is so funny.
I actually made a Floyd Mayweather Wii Boxing character when I was, what year was that? Like 2009 or something like that. Naturally, I got him to pro.
Not trying to flex, but
Yeah.
Right?
is anyone gonna stay on and play anything, or should we do a joint double raid?
Yeah, I'm down for the double raid. Let me see here what we got. Tim, if you want to look too, see if anyone's on Twitch streaming.
So much for coming on and being here, Tim. It's been super fun, and thanks, chat. Thank you guys
Absolutely, yeah.
for hanging out. And I promise I saw everyone's chat throughout the whole thing, and I really appreciate you guys being here.
Yep, for sure. Yeah,
And I hope
we
you guys
definitely
enjoyed
appreciate it.
learning more about Tim.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah,
a blast.
It was great to be on, guys. I really do appreciate you asking me and having
course.
me on. And it was good to get to know you guys too a little bit more. If you ever want me to come back, I'm more than happy to.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Definitely. We'll definitely be having part 2. I
100%.
feel like with you, there's a lot of topics we can cover. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's not
what do you
afraid to
wanna do
talk about
for,
much, or yeah, not afraid to talk about some things too. Because I remember the first time I was in your stream, we got into some very deep conversations.
I'm good at that.
Yeah, I mean, just get you there. It's kind of wild. Ravenclaw, do you have anyone in particular?
Did you have anyone?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't have anyone.
We can
Should we go to it?
kinda...
I can go to the talk shows and podcast page and see what's on.
I don't know how to say her full name. She's pretty cool. I kind of just started hanging out with her. She's pretty much the only one I have.
I'm okay with that.
You want to?
Yeah.
All right,
Just have to spell it for
what do
me.
we want to do our hashtag today?
Unkindness rage, and I don't know.
Unkindness.
Rage, not rage.
Rage. We're not raging. All right, guys. Copy and paste unkindness rage.
What?
And then I'll go ahead and tell you what her thing is.
Oh yeah, one more thing before we wrap up. We have a YouTube channel now, the Unkindness Lounge on YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Cover that real quick.
The first 2 videos got uploaded this morning, and this one's gonna get uploaded right after this. So if you miss anything, go check it out there. So it'll be cool.
It's just the Unkindness Lounge on YouTube.
Yep. How do you spell and like capitalization and
capital
stuff?
V. So capital V,
Mhm.
and then ILEMALAPERT. We just began hanging out because she got Phasmo too, and she's been playing a lot of
Okay,
Phasmo.
VILEMALAPE what?
PERT. I don't know how to pronounce it. I just call her
Vile. Yeah.
But yeah, she's cool.
Go ahead
All
and
right,
drop
I'm
that.
ready when you are. Thank you guys all for being here and hanging out.
Yeah, go follow Tim and Raven. And Tim, seriously, thanks for coming on, man. It's been so much fun. Time
Absolutely.
literally
Thanks
got
for
away
having
from
me.
us this time.
Literally
it
flew
was a
by.
blast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everyone have great nights and whatnot.
Yeah.
All right.
Go follow Tim, Lizard, and I will see you guys later.
Yep. Peace.
Bye, guys. Jeez.
Good?
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, that was super fun. Honestly, thanks for doing this, Tim.
Absolutely. Seriously, guys. Thanks for